One station making history every day.
Chicago, Chicago.
Now, Jake Hartford.
89 WS.
Ward, you were very rough on the Beaver last night. Everybody, it's 5:08, 8 past 5, 52 minutes before the hour of 6 o'clock. I had to think about it. This is the Awake with Jake show, up and running. Be with you until 8 o'clock when Paul Bryan gets here with Drive Chicago. And could I toot my own horn? I don't even have a horn, but if I had one, I'd be tooting it right now. It'd be toot, toot, toot. Those of you who follow me on Facebook, the other day, Tuesday, during the day, after I had talked with some people on the ground in Wisconsin, I posted that the results would be Walker winning by 7 points, 7 percentage points. And up until that time, you know, a lot of the media and the polls were calling it too close to call. It was maybe 2 points, 3 points, whatever. And I posted 7 points. And people scoffed. They said, "What do you know, Jake Hartford? What do you know about Wisconsin? What do you know about politics?" Let me just say the winning margin was 7 points. Right on the head. 1,331,000 votes for Walker, 1,158,000 for Tom Barrett, the mayor of Milwaukee. 7 percentage points. And I'm glad that at least Barrett got over 1 million votes, because I was concerned that the 900-some thousand people who signed the petition for the recall, they wouldn't get that many votes. So hopefully all those people came out and voted. But right on the head, 7%. You'll hear things on this show first before other shows. Just remember that. Anyway, 591-8900 is the phone number. A lot of stuff to get to. But we'll start with Paul from Arlington Heights. Good morning, Paul. Paul?
Morning, Jake.
How are you?
Doing fine. You know, you mentioned about Governor Walker winning. You know, I think you had a hand on him winning by that 7-point margin.
I just said that.
Yeah. Well, this is why I think. If you recall from last year's Labor Day, remember that the people organizing the parade for Labor Day in Wausau, Wisconsin, were not going to let Republicans join in the parade, correct?
Oh, that's right. I remember that. I was filling in for Rowan Roper that day. Yeah.
And remember, you talked to the mayor of Wausau, and you threatened to go up there and protest if Republicans were not allowed to march in the Labor Day parade.
That's right.
All right. Well, here's what I think is going on, Jake. Since you did that, your fan base in central and northern Wisconsin has gotten larger and larger and larger, and people are listening to you on the radio. They're listening to you on their computers, their iPhones, their Blackberries, their Droids. They're listening to your show in the morning.
And some would say that fan base in Wisconsin is larger than the one in Chicago.
There you go. And I think because you talking on Memorial Day when you substituted for Rowan Roper, and they heard you talking with the lieutenant governor, the people that were on the fence, your independents, they heard you talking with her. I think that switched their votes over to Scott Walker and his lieutenant governor, and because of that, they got that 7-point margin over Barrett.
I'd be too modest to say that, but I'll let you say that, yes.
Well, I am saying it, and I think that might be the truth, Jake. Now, let's have a good news story for a change. You know, you're saying lately, I've been starting to show with depressing news. Well, I've got some good news for a change. One of your biggest fans that listens to you is PJ from Crown Point, Indiana. Well, I just thought I'd let you and the listeners know that on Thursday, PJ became a grandmother for the 4th time. And believe me, if you've ever seen PJ, I've seen her in person, it's hard to believe she'd be a grandma for the first time,
wow.
for the 4th time.
Congratulations.
Yes, her daughter Megan and her son-in-law Linnell had a daughter Megan.
It's always nice to get new listeners.
Right. Mariah was born, big baby. Baby girl was 8 pounds, 15 ounces, and 22 inches long. So I wish I could catch a walleye that was 22 inches long.
Did the baby come by FedEx ground or?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big baby. All right, so now for some depressing news.
See, there you go. See, I knew he was going to get to it.
You knew what was coming. All right, I hate to announce a friend of the show. I hate to let your listeners know about this, but we would hear him on your show. Richard T. Crow, Chicago's very own ghost hunter, unfortunately passed this last Wednesday. He died of complications of pancreatic cancer. What's strange is that poor man found out 11 days before he died that he had pancreatic cancer, and he went that quickly. And then also what's strange, well, not strange, but, you know, we always would talk about Resurrection Mary and Resurrection Cemetery. Well, that's where Richard's going to be buried. So
yeah, he, you know, it's really strange. I just got a letter from him.
Really?
And I didn't open it.
Oh, man.
Because I went out of town Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to open it when I got home, and then I saw on the Facebook that, you know, yesterday that he passed on, and I'm afraid to open it now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But 11 days, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously he didn't suffer too long, but still, and a young man, only 64 years old, you know, it's kind of disturbing when you're near that age yourself and hearing that he passed. Boy,
pancreatic cancer, I mean, my father died from that, had that, and yeah, there's a lot of people, you know, that's a killer disease.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. Yeah,
11 days, man. I don't know how. You know what? I don't know if that's the way to go or not to go.
Yeah.
I mean, would you like to have it and then suffer for a year or two, or would you just have a good life and then go?
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to suffer, so I guess it's.
I wonder what will happen to his ghost tours.
Well, someone commented on that social media page. Well, maybe he'll give the ghost tours of the living. You never know.
Oh, anyway. All right. Thank you, Paul.
All right, Jake. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Richard Crow's been on many times. And you talk about a guy, and you know, maybe, I don't know what's the right way to go, how fast, not fast, whatever. But here is a guy who lucked into what he did. He was a professor, I think, at DePaul University. I think he was connected. I forget, and he kind of followed the paranormal stuff in Chicago. And somebody asked me, say, why don't you put like a little group together and you know, give a little tour of some of the places around Chicago, like Resurrection Mary, stuff like that. And he did, and it was very popular. And he started doing more tours, and that became his job, his profession. He started out in the 70s doing that. And Resurrection Cemetery is on Archer, where he's going to be buried. That's where the Resurrection Mary story came from, where people would be driving down Archer at night, and this ghost type figure, this girl would ask for a ride, and they give her a ride, and she get out of the car by the cemetery and go into the cemetery, and people would swear it was a real person. It was a ghost. Yeah. He had tours. He used to take people to Chinatown. They had the boat tour, different places where the big fires. There was a fire right back of the station here. Was it the theater or whatever? It was right down the alley. I know he's been on with Rowan Roper talking about that. Yeah, so he'll be missed. Anyway, more to get to. Speaking, I went out of town. The gas prices. When I left Chicago, in our area near Green Jakers, gas was around like $3.72 a gallon. As I went south, I went down to Nashville. In Effingham, Illinois, not too far, gas was $3.45. And as you made your way into Kentucky, past Paducah, and you always want to go past Paducah, gas in Kentucky was like in the 330s. Nashville, you know how much gas is in Nashville? $3.13. And not just one station, all over the place. $3.13, and they're complaining about gas prices down there. And I'm thinking, why? What's the big difference? And I got back yesterday, or late Thursday night, and I saw the gas price yesterday here, $3.95, back up. And I know Chicago is higher because we have that special blend. We're a special people in Chicago. We get the summer blend. You know what? I can live with the Nashville blend at $3.13. And I know there's a little difference in taxes and stuff like that. But that's between $3.13 and when it's $3.95 now, 80-some cents a gallon. I went to the Walmart. I wanted to buy a bunch of the 5-gallon red gas cans. I just wanted to load up with gas and bring it back. But I already had loaded up with cigarettes at $2.50 a pack. Nah, I'm just joking. If I could work out the price of gas, you could just bring gas and cigarettes back. Just back and forth. Just whatever. Anyway, see, if the president wanted to become popular, lift, and I said this months ago when the gas skyrocketed, get rid of the blends right now. We don't need special blends. One blend for regular. That's all. Think of the people he'd make happy. Think how it would help the economy. People would have more money in their pockets to spend on stuff. Huh? I should be advising him. 519, back to your calls after this on 89 WLS.
This is Chicago's talk leader.
Do you believe in free speech or do you not?
I agree with so much of what you're saying. Both sides of the aisle are equally guilty.
The mean, nasty, grueling world.
I think it could happen here. We need to get in there and help them be careful.
Not going to make our world a better place.
This is Chicago's talk leader.
I could go on and on, but I won't.
89 WLS.
Tune in to the Mortgage Radio Show here on 890 AM, WLS this morning at 11 a.m. The Mortgage Radio Show, hosted by Kerry Kasem and mortgage expert Alex Michaels, brought to you by Network Capital Funding Corporation, will help you find the right mortgage product for your needs. The Mortgage Radio Show will provide you reliable information, up-to-the-minute interest rates, and most current loan programs available. Get the tools needed to make sound financial and mortgage choices. Tune in this morning at 11 a.m. on 890 AM, WLS. The Mortgage Radio Show, your number one choice for mortgage news.
Hi, I'm Gary Rabine, CEO of Rabine Paving America and the Rabine Group. The last 30 years has been quite a journey. This is my 30-second story. Pimples to wrinkles. Local startup to national leaders. In 1981, a pimply-faced guy, me, knocked on doors in Northern Illinois for driveways to pave. In 2011, that same guy, pimples replaced by wrinkles, still knocks on doors locally, regionally, and nationally. With a team of the brightest minds in pavement engineering, construction, and maintenance, Rabine Paving America has become one of the largest commercial paving companies in the country, featuring innovations like ultra-loud white topping and pervious pavements. In 1981, our goal was survival. In 2011, our goal to make our clients' lives easier. So when you need paving or or seal coating, asphalt or concrete, call the Rabine Group. 888-RABINE-3. That's 888-RABINE-3.
Whether it's commercial paving, engineering, or roofing, call Rabine now for your free estimate and guaranteed results. That's 888-RABINE-3. Or visit them online at RabinePaving.com today.
Two great minds collide on the eve of World War II in the hit play, Freud's Last Session. Step into the study of Sigmund Freud for his unforgettable meeting with celebrated writer C.S. Lewis. Experience their riveting conversation about everything from sex and love to God and the meaning of life. A smash in New York. Freud's Last Session at the Mercury Theater. Tickets available at MercuryTheaterChicago.com, the box office, or call 773-325-1700.
Welcome to today's lottery drawing. And today's winning numbers are not yours, not yours, and another number that's not yours. And the final number is not yours.
When it comes to having money, don't rely on luck. Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering it. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Take a peek behind the financial curtain with me, Tom Byrne, CEO of Trend Capital Managers. Listen to Securing Your Financial Future this Sunday morning at 8.
An ABC News update is just minutes away. 89 WLS and online at WLSAM.com.
I met her at a dance. I remember she was very cold. So strangely beautiful, I swept her up to carry her home. Resurrection Mary, wander from your cemetery. In 1931, she was struck down the last
523, Awake with Jake Kuyford right here in 89 WLS. It's a Saturday morning. It's going to be warm this weekend in the lower 90s. But it's a June warmth. It'll just envelop your body and just caress you with good feelings till the humidity hits. Kathleen in Olympia Fields. Good morning, Kathleen. Welcome to 89 WLS.
Well, thank you, Jake. Good morning to you, too. You always make me laugh. And I was listening to your stories this morning, and I just had a call in about Richard Crowe. I was a student at DePaul University. I worked as a staff member on the DePaulia. And
DePaulia?
The DePaulia, yeah. And
is that the student newspaper?
Yes, it is. It's a student newspaper.
Well, there's a kid.
Can't mistake it for any other university. Anyway, Richard Crowe, his very first... I was on it, his very first tour for the Haunted bus tour. And he advertised it in our newspaper, the DePaulia. And the editor at the time was Greg Lewandowski, who's now my husband. But I wasn't dating him at the time, but he just said, hey, guys, let's go on this bus tour. It sounds really great. Richard Crowe wants to do it. And we're like, what? You know, and it was a haunted bus tour. And we said, well, okay. And Richard was such a sweet guy. He thought that the kids wouldn't come unless he served them eats and treats. So he had this huge cooler of sandwiches and cold pop, and so he fed us while he told us these little crazy stories as he drove us all over Chicagoland. We had a great time, and at the end we stopped at a bar and we all had some drinks, and we paid our own way for the drinks. But he did serve us free eats and treats during the tour. But it was a long tour. We spent like 2.5 hours or something out.
I mean, he knows all the stuff in Chicago.
He does, and he is just such a sweet guy, or he was such a sweet guy. And my family my kids are now grown, and they're just graduating. My youngest graduated from college. And we took him on a tour just with Richard in November of this year because we couldn't get in. He was so popular, we couldn't get into any of the bus tours. They were all booked up through October 31st for the haunted bus tour. So we had to go in November, and they had the greatest time. And Greg said, my husband said, it was the same spiel. It was like from the very first, tour that he had put together. But the stories were great. And he was just a really sweet guy.
What do you think's going to happen to his business now?
I would be nice if someone picked it up. I don't know. He was such a sweet guy. He might have had a lot of contacts. There might be someone who was close to him that would continue it, because it was a great business, really. And Chicago needs something more than just Al Capone, you know. And that was the alternative, you know, this cute little bus tour.
Yeah, you can go to his website. It's ghosttours.com, and there's all kind of stuff on there about, you know, Chicago and the different, you know, the ghost type stuff and everything. But I mean, he was, I don't know if he had like an assistant or you know a partner that did some of the stuff, or he did everything himself, or
well, it was himself when he was you know, giving the tour last November when my husband went with the kids, and he was doing it, and he was very busy. So I don't know, you know, if he was just running the single bus tour, but he always was quality control for him. He just wanted to be able, and he had a great personality. He was so easy to talk to.
You know what's nice is he got to do what he loved doing. I mean, he didn't start out saying, "Hey, I'm going to do ghost tours." He kind of lucked into that by accident, and it became his life, and he loved it. And you know, a lot of people don't get to do that.
He never lost his sweetness and his sense of humor. He never lost it. He really enjoyed what he did.
Well, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. It's sad.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you, Jake. Bye.
Yeah. See, that's he got to do what he wanted to do. I mean, that's it right up until the end. I mean, that's a good way to go. You know what I mean in life. How many people work, and they don't really enjoy their job, then they retire and die. I mean, I'm just saying. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to be saying this morning. Mention the president. You know Lanny Davis? He worked in the Clinton White House. You know, they've had this controversy about, you know, Romney and Bain Capital, the company that he had and all that stuff. And Cory Booker, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, Democrat, came out in defense of Romney and Bain Capital a couple weeks ago, and other people have since. And, well, anyway, there was a story that the senior White House officials said Cory Booker is, quote, dead to us. That's kind of cold. So Lanny Davis, he's not too thrilled with what's going on in the Obama White House. He says it may be meltdown unless they come to their senses. Why would they want to create enemies or depict people as enemies who are their friends? He says you have vicious people who are working for the president. God, I think Lanny Davis is going to be taken out to the woodshed now. Something is going on there. It is. I mean, this thing yesterday with the president saying the private sector is fine, that he backtracked on that because it really isn't. But the bigger story, and the one that really affects everybody, is what was also said at the press briefing yesterday, is the story about these newspaper articles, like in the New York Times, that give the inside look into not just the Bin Laden killing, but what we did in Iran with the internet, the cyber attack we did, and the drones. And it's so inside that the president is quoted in the articles, and they're long articles. But it's giving away our information about how we gather intelligence. And they just appointed 2 prosecutors to look into it, and I will talk about that and a whole lot more. And there's some fun stuff, too, as we continue on Awake with Jake right here on a Saturday morning on 89 WLS.
89 WLS.
Tune to 89 WLS. Always for forecasts from America's most dependable The Weather Channel. Every 10 minutes, mornings and afternoons on 89 WLS. And constant updates at WLSAM.com. Keyword storm.
The notion that my White House
would purposely release classified national security information is offensive.
He didn't say they didn't do it, though. He just said it's offensive. 534.